Today, we're embarking on an exciting journey into the world of the red mason bee, showing you how to nurture these amazing pollinators and create a buzzing oasis in your own backyard. In the bustling world of pollinators, one species stands out for its gentle nature, remarkable efficiency, and vibrant red hue. The red mason bee, scientifically known as Osmia rufa. As gardeners increasingly recognize the importance of these solitary bees, they are becoming cherished guests in backyards worldwide. We'll delve into their life cycle, nesting behaviors, and why they're so important to our ecosystem. These small, solitary bees typically measure around 8 to 14 millimeters in length and are characterized by their striking reddish-brown coloration. Unlike the highly social honeybees, red mason bees lead solitary lives, each female responsible for her nesting, foraging, and egg-laying duties. This independent lifestyle makes them non-aggressive and less likely to sting, making them ideal garden companions. Understanding the life cycle of red mason bees helps us appreciate their importance in pollination. They emerge from their cocoons in early spring, typically between March and May, depending on local climate conditions. They are among the first bees to appear, making them crucial early-season pollinators. After emerging, male bees wait for about 1 to 2 weeks for females for emerging, and mating occurs shortly after. Females search for suitable nesting sites, which could be pre-existing holes in wood, hollow stems, or man-made nesting tubes. They create individual nest cells, provisioning each with a mixture of nectar and pollen. After nest cell construction, the female lays a single egg in each cell and seals it with mud. Larvae hatch from the eggs and feed on the stored pollen and nectar. They pupate within the sealed cells and eventually emerge as adult bees. These new adults remain dormant in their cocoons until the following spring. While red mason bees might not produce honey like their honeybee cousins, they are exceptional pollinators. Their efficient foraging behavior, combined with their early emergence in the spring, makes them vital contributors to pollinating a variety of crops and garden plants. Red mason bees transfer pollen from one flower to another, while foraging for nectar and pollen. This pollen transfer is essential for fertilizing flowers and facilitating fruit and seed production. Their role in pollination helps increase crop yields and promote biodiversity in gardens and ecosystems. Now that we understand the significance of red mason bees, here are some steps you can take to create a bee-friendly environment in your garden. Mason bees readily use nesting tubes made of various materials. These tubes mimic natural cavities, such as hollow plant stems. You can purchase or create your own nesting tubes using materials like paper straws, cardboard tubes, reusable wood trays, or reeds. Make sure the tubes are between 5-8 millimeter in diameter and 13-25 centimeter long. These tubes should be placed in a sunny, sheltered location to keep them secure and dry, while not a nesting material. Providing a small, damp mud puddle or container filled with clayey soil near the nesting sites is crucial. Mason bees use mud to seal the entrance to each nest cell, creating a protective barrier for their developing offspring. When selecting plants for your garden to attract mason bees, aim for a mix of early blooming and late blooming species to provide a continuous food supply throughout the growing season. Native plants are often an excellent choice because they are well suited to the local climate and wildlife, including mason bees. Additionally, providing a diversity of flowering plants not only supports mason bees but also benefits other pollinators and contributes to overall garden health and biodiversity. To enhance mason bee habitat, avoid using pesticides in your garden, as these chemicals can harm not only the bees but also the plants they pollinate. Here are some types of plants that you can plant in your garden to encourage mason bee activity. Early spring flowers: crocus, snowdrops, daffodils, grape hyacinths, tulips. Fruit trees: apple, cherry, plum, pear. Fruit bushes: blueberries, raspberries, gooseberries, honeyberries, currants. Wildflowers like dandelions. Ornamental shrubs: forsythia, willows, viburnum, lilac bushes. As autumn rolls around, you can get ready to harvest their precious cocoons. This process is a crucial step if you want to ensure the survival and health of these beneficial pollinators. Wait until late fall or early winter to begin the harvest. By this time, the adult mason bees have finished their life cycle and have sealed themselves in their cocoons for winter. Using your own hands, a pair of scissors, or a utility knife, carefully open the nesting material lengthwise. This will expose the individual cocoons inside. Examine each cocoon closely. Healthy mason bee cocoons should have a firm, brown outer layer. Discard any cocoons that appear damaged, moldy, or discolored. Gently extract the healthy cocoons from the nesting material. You can use a small brush, tweezers, or even your fingers, but be careful not to squeeze or damage them. Clean the cocoons using your fingers to remove any loose debris or remaining pollen. Label the container with the date of harvest and any additional information you find relevant. Store the container in a cool, dry, and dark place. Proper storage mimics the bees' natural winter conditions and helps ensure their survival. Periodically, check the stored cocoons throughout the winter to ensure they remain healthy and undisturbed. Make sure the storage container is not exposed to extreme temperatures or excessive moisture. When spring arrives and temperatures consistently reach around 15 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit, it's time to release the mason bee cocoons back into the garden. Place them near your mason bee nesting materials. Mason bees, like many other bee species, are susceptible to a variety of parasites. And while harvesting their cocoons, it is important to know how they look like. Here are some common parasites. Pollen mites are tiny arachnids that infest mason bee nests. They feed on the pollen provisions stored by female bees for their offspring. Excessive pollen mite infestations can lead to reduced food availability for mason bee larvae. Monodontomerous wasps are parasitoids that lay their eggs in mason bee nests. When the wasp larvae hatch, they feed on the mason bee larvae, ultimately killing them. These wasps can significantly impact mason bee populations if left unchecked. Houdini flies are kleptoparasites that lay their eggs in mason bee nests. Their larvae consume the provisions intended for mason bee larvae, often leading to the death of the developing bees. As we've seen today, creating a welcoming environment for mason bees is easier than you might think. From providing suitable nesting materials and forage plants to protecting them from parasites, we can make a big difference in their lives and the health of our gardens. So whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting started, consider making a space for mason bees in your garden. By doing so, you're not only helping these remarkable pollinators, but also reaping the benefits of increased fruit and vegetable yields, and a more vibrant and biodiverse garden. Let's roll up our sleeves, embrace the buzz, and become stewards of the mason bee. Together, we can make our gardens flourish, one pollinator-friendly plant at a time. Thanks for joining us today, and happy gardening!